Today, Road to 50 Million, I wanted to talk about miracles and magic. And they're not really the same thing. Miracles we usually use in a spiritual context, and magic is just unexplained thing. But sometimes it's fun, especially around the holidays, to think of them a little bit the same. Anyway, I have witnessed both, and maybe you have too. Miracles and magic. What are they? Well, miracles are things that we don't expect to happen, and they border on, gee, we can't really explain how that happened. There's not an easy or understandable explanation. Most of the time, when we think about miracles or magic, we think about stuff that we don't understand. So many of our technology marvels today would be magic to people 100 or 1,000 years ago, or even 50 years ago. I think about Star Trek communicators, and they were amazing when that came out in the late 1960s. And today, we have smartphones that are way beyond anything they had there, at least as communicators. We don't quite have tricorders yet, I suppose, but close enough. But I want to talk about what's in the soul. Today's Christmas Eve day. Tomorrow's Christmas. And I sent and received a whole bunch of Christmas greetings today already, and I have more to do, and I'm going to send them with love. I'm sending them to family and friends and clients and people. But what does that have to do with magic? Well, let's talk about creating magic right here, right now. I use this background because it's a magician a little bit, in a top hat, waving things around and lights and balls. And it's a little bit fun, and I use this thing on purpose for that. But what would it take to create a miracle? I don't think it's as hard as you might think. You might reach out to someone who is lonely or hurt or sad or whatever and just talk to them. Send them some love and kindness today, like right now, today. And that could easily be a miracle for them, or it could create a miracle for them. I've had circumstances where I follow the intuition, and I'm sure you have too, to do that. And then people say, I was just thinking about you. Or more powerfully, people say, this is exactly what I needed. Or sometimes people weep and break down and say, how could you possibly have known? And the answer is always, we didn't know. The answer is always, the divine, the omnipotent presence knows. And what I finally figured out is our game, our assignment as humans is to be receptors to that divine love and magnificence, and just to be listening all the time so that we can be the instruments of magic, so that we can be the instruments of that love. Magic might come in the way of kindness, where you or I or someone, I'm talking to you, where you think of someone and send love to them unexpectedly, deeply and sincerely, or where you go out of your way. I got a knock on my door this morning, and I was blessed. A mom and boy were there, and the boy, he's not little, he's a young man, is in our young men's program at church, and he was there to give me a little Christmas goodie because I was part of the leadership team. And I was so grateful and moved that he was there to do that, and he was visibly excited to do that, and he created a warm feeling and a little Christmas miracle in my heart. And so the opportunity is for you and I to create miracles today. We often think of that. I watched on television one of the Harry Potter movies yesterday, and of course all kinds of wizards, and they were some of the later ones, so they were quite dark. And the bad guys, Lord Voldemort's going to take over the universe, and the good guys are arrayed to protect them, and there's all kinds of zapping and magic and so forth. I don't think of it that way, although that sure was fun when I was a kid. My brother and I used to pretend all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure you did too. But let's talk about real, practical magic. Love is magic. Love is a miracle. The fact that the divine created you and me with intentional focused love, the fact that you were given gifts by the divine creator, that is a miracle. Another miracle is if you decide to discover those gifts, to search your heart, to search your feelings, Luke, right? Search your feelings and see what you feel called to do. So often when I talk about intuition, people all recognize we have it. Sometimes we have those feelings of intuition about doing something or saying something or calling someone or sending something somewhere to someone. Sometimes we follow them and sometimes we don't. Now, if we don't, we never know what would have happened. If we do, sometimes we still don't know what happens. But often we find out then or later that it really was an intuition and that what we were prompted to do had far bigger significance than that we would have imagined. Those are not coincidences. Those are the divine direction. And when you and me, when we have our antenna up to hear that divine intuition, then we get to participate in miracles. We get to create miracles. Now, I've been the recipient of miracles. I died. I had the choice to come back to life, and I took it. So I'm here, and I'm on a mission now to help 50 million people this year to discover their divine gifts and to choose to serve everyone around them with those gifts. And whether you choose to have a big goal like 50 million or a bigger goal like 100 or a billion or something, I talked to someone who tried to help a billion people. All I did is ask how I can help them. Because that's part of the miracle. We have technology marvels and miracles now that allow us to even talk about that. A few years ago, that kind of goal would have been nonsense because we didn't have even a way to reach that many people. Today we do. Today we do. We have YouTube channels with millions of subscribers and hundreds of millions of views. And so the idea that we can positively and lovingly create a miracle in someone's life, a million people, that's not weird. Now, think about this for just a minute. Suppose you could reach, maybe not in a single day, but over time, a million people with the message of hope and love. Suppose you could do that. And they chose to be a little bit brighter and a little bit more loving and a little bit more positive. Imagine affecting a million people that way. That would be a miracle. The change in the world would be noticeable. It would be visceral. It would be physical. Now, when you're in a conversation with someone and there is an intensity of connection and understanding, that is a marvel. It is a miracle. Sometimes tears flow. Sometimes there's just that electric connection. And you know there's something more than just the words. But the intent, the feeling, the essence, the spirit is shared and communicated. Sometimes when a person, I want you to think about this, maybe you participated in this, you're talking to someone, they're feeling really bad about themselves, and you encourage them, and all of a sudden you see them catch a vision, a glimpse of what you're trying to explain, what you're trying so hard to help them see. It might be a parent with a child. It might be a friend. That kind of work is what we do as coaches. And if you're a coach, then you know that. That moment when someone realizes, I am worthwhile, I am valuable, I can do this. I actually can. I see a possibility. That glimmer, that moment of enlightenment, that's a miracle. And who knows where the ripples go? Because if someone catches that vision, if you catch a vision, if I say to you, you're powerful, you're divine, and you can have anything you want in the world, and you hear me and you say, you know what? What if I could? And you do something different and affect someone and someone and someone. Those ripples are endless. And we downplay that. We forget that. And so this is a perfect time of year. Everyone needs to be loved. Everyone needs kindness. And whether Christmas is the tradition you celebrate or not, the moment is only always to be kind. The moment is only always to give love just because you can. And I don't know about you, but I've discovered the most important times in my life to give love is when I didn't feel like it. When I felt sad, when I felt neglected or hurt. And that's sometimes the hardest because I want somebody to come and fix me. But when I see something and I say, well, this moment, I'll worry about my stuff in a minute. Right now, I'm just going to love this person. Suddenly, the feelings in me go away. The pain, the worry, they seem smaller. And that's a miracle. There's nothing else I could have done in a difficult situation to suddenly have my feelings change. But I turned and I focused on someone and I loved them. And all of a sudden, the situation's over. And I notice I don't feel what I was feeling. My heart has changed. My breath is different. My feelings are lighter. And I get emotional when I talk about this because it's so powerful. And you know what? You and I, we each at every minute in our lives have availability of this power. The power to lift and bless, the power to love, model, teach, forgive, ask for forgiveness, change the world one thing at a time, one person at a time, one relationship at a time. We want so badly for there to be peace. Well, we can't control the battlefield in Europe, but we can control the battlefield in our heart. We can control the battlefield in our home where we're involved. We can control the battlefield at work. And we can take the view of that Hawaiian ho'oponopono, which is a funny word, it's about that long, but it always starts with me saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful. And that is true whether I feel like I did something wrong or you did. And that used to bother me, but I now realize that I am sorry. Even if you did something to bother me, I'm sorry that we have any negativity. I'm sorry that that transpired. Forgive whatever I did. Please forgive whatever I did. I do love you. We are connected. And we can. That's how we control the battlefield in our hearts. That's how we control the battlefield in our minds and in our families and with our neighbors and friends and spouses and kids. The truth is, I saw a cartoon the other day. Someone was driving a big wheelbarrow away from a shed with lots of stacks, and it looked like lots of boxes. And one other person was walking away with a little box on it, and on the box said love. And the person pushing the wheelbarrow said, that's all you need? And the person was holding the love and said, yeah, it's all I need. It's the truth. Love is the creator of miracles, the foundation of miracles. I challenge you right here, right now, go create a miracle today. Why not? You have the power. I don't care what's going on in your life. Go create a miracle. Go do some magic. Let someone go, oh, I never expected that. There's nothing that feels like that. And we have the power to do it every minute, every single day. My road to 50 million is my commitment in 12 months, starting in October past, to reach 50 million people and to help you to discover and serve with your divine gifts. Sometimes that's tied to business and money and that kind of thing, and that's certainly doable. It's so much easier to make money doing what you love than people think it is, but that's separate. Today, I'm just urging you to find the reservoir of love in your heart and share it with all you're worth. Just because. If you really want to lift up your life, if you really want to lift up your life, then share all your light. Just because. We'll see you tomorrow.